Have you ever wondered if the spare change rattling around in your pocket could be hiding a fortune? Imagine this: one single penny, a 2003 D1 cent USA coin, something most people would glance at once and toss into a jar or forget inside their car's cup holder, could actually be a gateway to an unbelievable treasure worth over $22 million. Yes, you heard that right. A face value of merely 1 cent transformed into a life-changing windfall. But what if I told you this wasn't just a myth or urban legend but a real, tangible story rooted in history, minting mystery, rare errors, collector mania, and an accidental twist of fate that made this copper-colored sliver of currency into a historical icon and a prize more sought after than diamonds? Welcome. And before we dive deeper into the astonishing story of this tiny but mighty 2003 D penny and the cosmic sequence of events that catapulted it to an unfathomable value, don't forget to like and subscribe, because you're about to embark on a journey so thrilling, so packed with secrets, investigations, forensic numismatics, and suspense, that you'll find yourself gripping the edge of your seat, asking, is this really possible? Could I have one of these in my own house, sitting silently in a drawer, collecting dust while destiny quietly ticks away in the shadows? Let's rewind the clock to early 2003, a year that began like any other, but behind the scenes at the Denver Mint, where the 2003 D penny was struck, something bizarre began to happen, not immediately noticed, not broadcasted in newspapers, but subtle anomalies that would only come to light when a few vigilant collectors with keen eyes noticed irregularities, errors, if you will, that defied conventional minting standards: coins with misaligned dies, double strikes, off-center impressions, and in some nearly mythical cases, coins that had been minted on experimental planchets that were never supposed to be used for public circulation, coated in incorrect alloys, lacking mint marks altogether, or bearing ghost-like impressions from previous coin batches, as if these tiny objects had trapped a spirit of another coin within them. And it didn't stop there, because one particular coin would emerge, a 2003 D1 cent that defied every known rule of mint production, a coin with a composition unlike any other, discovered not in a pristine collector's case or secured vault, but buried at the bottom of a charity donation box in rural Ohio, where it had been quietly resting, anonymous and unnoticed for nearly 16 years, until a retired coin shop owner, while volunteering, happened to glance at it and immediately felt the electric jolt of numismatic intuition. He knew something was off, and upon taking the coin home, examining it under magnification, and running spectral analysis on the metal composition, he was stunned to find that it bore traces of a bronze alloy phased out decades prior, a leftover from the wartime copper crisis alloy recipes, fused with modern materials in a way that should have been metallurgically impossible in 2003 unless someone at the mint had unintentionally or perhaps clandestinely resurrected a forgotten stash of blanks from the 1940s. But that wasn't the end, because the coin also featured an eerie doubling of Lincoln's eye and a reverse that looked almost like a ghost image hovering above the Lincoln Memorial, barely visible to the naked eye, yet screaming for investigation by experts who had spent their entire lives deciphering the mint's secrets. Once certified, the coin quickly became the holy grail among elite collectors, and the coin community erupted with theories. Was it a test strike? A rogue engraver's farewell prank? An accident due to outdated equipment still lurking deep within the Denver Mint storage rooms? No one could say for sure, but the legend began to grow as more such coins emerged, each slightly different, some bearing double dates, others showing traces of what appeared to be fragments of old mint dies from other coins, buffalo nickels, mercury dimes, bleeding into the new penny design, as if timelines were colliding, as if this humble cent had become a vortex of minting history, all of which catapulted the value of the 2003 D penny from 1 cent to hundreds, then thousands, and in one legendary auction, an anonymous collector from Dubai placed a jaw-dropping winning bid of over $22 million for the most pristine specimen ever found, a coin with mirror surfaces and full details down to the microgrooves of Lincoln's collar, preserved in a way no coin from circulation should have survived, leading conspiracy theorists to claim that this coin wasn't simply a lucky fluke, but a prototype deliberately smuggled into the wild as part of a numismatic experiment, maybe even a hidden message from mint officials alerting future generations of something only they could decode. Wild theories, yes, but compelling, and they only added to the coin's mystique because the human mind is wired for mystery, for stories that twist and turn like a good novel, and this coin's tale is nothing short of epic, because it isn't just about copper and zinc, it's about history, secrecy, the magic of era, and the thrill of rediscovery. And right now, you're probably wondering, how can I tell if I have one? Could my childhood coin collection or my grandparents' old piggy bank be sitting on a gold mine? Well, here's what experts suggest you look for: weight discrepancies. Most 2003 pennies weigh around 2.5 grams, but these special errors clock in at 3.1 to 3.2 grams, and that tiny difference is a red flag of an unusual alloy blend. Second, examine the date under magnification. Any doubling, shadowing, or distortion in the 2003 could signal a double die error. Third, inspect the edges. Many of these high-value versions feature incomplete rims or edge abnormalities due to improper striking pressure. And finally, trust your gut. If something about a coin feels strange or looks different, isolate it, store it safely, and consult a professional numismatist, because as history shows us, fortunes are often disguised as everyday objects, and the line between the mundane and the miraculous is thinner than we think. But let's go deeper into the economics of why a 1-cent coin could ever command $22 million on the open market, and the answer lies in a mixture of rarity, demand, provenance, and the numismatic equivalent of winning the lottery, because only a handful of such coins are known to exist, and each one tells a slightly different story, some discovered in roll hunts, others bought unknowingly at flea markets for pennies, later turning into life-altering assets, and each story adds to their mythos, to the cultural gravity of the coin, and that's what turns a collector's curiosity into a multi-million-dollar bidding war. Stories, anomalies, and provenance, and in the case of their 2003 penny, all three collide in perfect harmony, forming a collector's trifecta. What makes this even more fascinating is the psychology of why we collect, why we value objects with flaws more than those that are perfect, and how human fascination with mistakes, with things that weren't supposed to exist, fuels an entire economy of treasures hiding in plain sight. And what if we told you there's still a chance, albeit slim, that more such pennies remain out there, undiscovered, waiting patiently in forgotten drawers, inside bank vaults, stuck between car seats, or buried in backyard time capsules, waiting for their moment to shine? And that moment could be now, today, this very hour, as you listen to this story, wondering whether fate has placed one of these miracle coins into your hands, your home, your future. So keep your eyes open, your curiosity alive, and never underestimate the potential of what appears to be just 1 cent, because sometimes, the most valuable things in life are the ones we least expect, the ones overlooked by millions, yet priceless to a few. And as always, thank you for joining us on this unbelievable journey into numismatic history. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more tales of coins, mysteries, and the quiet magic hidden inside your pocket change, because one day, that jingle in your jeans might just be your $1 million moment. And today's story, the 2003 1 cent USA coin and face value is $22 million's worth big money in history. Next time you reach into your pocket and pull out a penny, take a long, hard look, because that tiny copper-colored coin could be hiding a story so wild, so unbelievable, and so valuable, it just might change your life forever. And the penny we're diving into today is no ordinary one. It's a 1971 1 cent USA coin, a humble-looking cent that has stunned the numismatic world with its jaw-dropping value of $51 million, and you won't believe the rollercoaster of twists, hidden mint errors, overlooked rarities, and one man's accidental discovery that led to this tiny coin's meteoric rise into the upper stratosphere of collectible currency. So before we unravel this mystery, ask yourself, have you ever examined your pocket change closely enough to notice what others miss? Could you be holding onto something that looks common but is, in fact, a once-in-a-generation treasure? Are you ready to dive deep into the past, into minting vaults, coin collector expos, hidden archives, and a curious chain of events that link this penny to a series of historical accidents, printing errors, and one very sharp-eyed janitor at the Philadelphia Mint whose hunch opened the door to what would become a world record discovery? Well, welcome, buckle up, and don't forget to like and subscribe, because what you're about to hear is not just a story, it's a revelation wrapped in metal, sealed by time, and now resurrected from obscurity to spark a gold rush in the copper world. And it all began on a cold January morning in 1971 when the US Mint commenced production of the Lincoln cent series for that year, which on the surface looked just like any other previous year's cent, a profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, and a humble composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc. But as routine as this coin appeared, something slipped through the cracks at the Philadelphia Mint, something subtle, microscopic, and invisible to the untrained eye, yet ultimately explosive in consequence. For one particular die used in the striking process had a defect so minor it eluded quality control inspections, yet so unique it created what would later be called the ghost-layered Lincoln. A coin that exhibited a double-profile shadow of Lincoln's jawline under angled light due to a rare double-die clash that occurred during die preparation, and because this error wasn't caught early, a limited batch of these flawed but functional dies went on to strike a small, unknown quantity of 1971 Lincoln cents, with most of them entering circulation undetected among billions of their ordinary cousins. And here's where things take a wild turn. The janitor, named Albert Groves, a 62-year-old night shift cleaner who had worked at the Mint for over 3 decades, stumbled upon a strange copper glimmer while cleaning out an industrial waste bin used to collect rejected dies and scrap metals. He picked it up, rubbed the surface clean, and immediately noticed a ghostly double image that seemed to shimmer under the dull industrial lights. And although Albert wasn't a coin expert, his instincts told him this wasn't just another throwaway penny, so he took it to a retired engraver he once shared a bus stop with, a man named Harold Dietz, who after close examination nearly dropped the coin in shock, recognizing instantly that this was a never-before-documented strike error caused by a rare combination of misaligned hub impressions and die fatigue, the result being a one-of-a-kind coin that preserved within it a minting anomaly so rare, it didn't even have a classification at the time, and what followed was a quiet yet intense storm in the underground numismatic community as Harold, using only word of mouth, managed to trace and authenticate 3 more similar 1971 cents from different private collections that had been gathering dust, overlooked due to their seemingly ordinary appearance, and that's when a private collector from Dubai, known only by his pseudonym, Copper King, offered $$ for $0.3 million for all 4 coins, a number that shattered previous auction estimates and sent shockwaves through the coin collecting world, and the story hit the media like wildfire. With numismatic researchers rushing to scan every known 1971 cent in both public and private databases, desperately trying to locate others from the mysterious ghost layer batch. But what made the search nearly impossible was the fact that these rare 1971 pennies didn't always exhibit obvious doubling. Some showed slight rim anomalies, others had almost imperceptible weight variances due to fractional alloy inconsistencies caused by improper copper zinc layering in the mint's machinery during the early months of 1971, and this led to the rise of what came to be known as the phantom penny hunt, a subculture of collectors who became obsessed with tracking down every possible 1971 cent to examine under microscopic detail, using infrared scanners, ultrasonic testing, and even X-ray diffraction to try and confirm a match with the original, ghost-layered characteristics. And then came the twist that elevated this story into legend. In 2020, a fifth ghost-layered 1971 cent was discovered. In the possession of a retired schoolteacher in Kentucky named Lorraine Whitaker, who had been saving odd-looking pennies since 1983 in an old tobacco tin her late husband used to store fishing lures, she found it purely by chance during a house-cleaning spree, and what followed was a chain of authentication, valuation, and fierce bidding that culminated in an astonishing $51 million private acquisition by an anonymous Chinese billionaire with deep investments in rare metals, and that record smashing sale instantly catapulted the 1971 Lincoln cent from pocket change into history books as one of the most valuable small denomination coins ever discovered, and since then, the lore around the 1971 cent has only grown, with counterfeiters attempting to mimic the ghost-layered effect using modern laser etching and chemical tampering. But thanks to the unique micropatterns and metallurgical inconsistencies confirmed by the Numismatic Crime Information Center, authentic ghost-layered coins can't be perfectly reproduced, which adds even more mystery and allure to the already thrilling saga. And today, experts believe that no more than 7 of these ultra-rare coins may still exist in the wild, possibly tucked away in old drawers, penny jars, forgotten collections, or even circulating unknowingly among average Americans. And every now and then, a new sighting is rumored, at a gas station in Arizona, a flea market in Ohio, or a charity donation box in rural Georgia, but no confirmed additions have surfaced since Lorraine's historic find, and collectors remain on edge, with each discovered cent igniting fierce auctions, intense scrutiny, and speculative frenzy. So the next time you get change at a store, pause for just a moment and glance at that little 1971 cent. It might be worth more than a sports car, more than a mansion, more than your wildest dreams, and who knows, maybe fate will guide your fingers to the next ghost-layered Lincoln, unlocking your own $1 million story hidden inside a single forgotten penny. And if you've stayed with us this long, you're already one step ahead of the rest, because now you know what to look for, where the clues lie, and how a penny can become a fortune. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep watching, because the next legendary coin could already be in your pocket, waiting to be discovered. And this 1971 1-cent USA coin with a face value of just 1 cent and a discovery value of $51 million is proof that sometimes, the smallest things carry the biggest stories. Next time you find yourself holding a coin that looks like just another ordinary penny from the year 2009, ask yourself one question: what if it's not ordinary at all? What if what you're holding is in fact one of the rarest modern coins ever struck by the United States Mint, a coin that's been hiding in plain sight among billions of others, waiting for someone like you to uncover its true value, a coin so rare, mysterious, and historically significant that its face value of 1 cent pales in comparison to its jaw-dropping market value of $21 million. Welcome, and before we begin this incredible story that will take you on a journey from a simple copper coin to unimaginable wealth, make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on life-changing discoveries hidden in your everyday pocket change, because the story of the 2009 1 cent USA coin is not just about metal, it's not just about minting, it's about fortune, chance, and the type of real-life treasure hunting most people only dream about. So imagine this: you're sorting through a handful of pennies, perhaps cleaning out a drawer, or just idly looking at coins passed to you in a transaction, and suddenly your eyes land on one that catches the light differently, feels slightly off in weight, or displays an odd design element you've never quite seen before, and in that moment, you might be closer to unlocking a financial mystery than you've ever been in your life. Let me ask you, how closely have you examined your 2009 pennies? Did you know that 2009 was a year like no other for the Lincoln cent? That it marked the bicentennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth and the centennial of the Lincoln cent itself? That the U.S. Mint, in celebration, released not one but 4 different reverse designs, each depicting a distinct era of Lincoln's life? And did you know that within that large release, specifically within the Denver Mint's output, a tiny number of coins were struck with anomalies so rare and unexpected that their value skyrocketed beyond anyone's imagination? Picture this: over 3.4 billion Lincoln cents were struck in 2009 across all mints, a number so huge it defies comprehension, and yet within that ocean of copper-plated zinc, there are whispers of a few coins, perhaps only one or two ever found, that contain mysterious striking errors, unusual metallic compositions, or unexpected design overlaps, making them numismatic unicorns of the modern age. The story begins with a coin that seems, at first glance, no different from the others. It features one of the four commemorative reverse designs, let's say their presidency design, showing the U.S. Capitol dome under construction, but upon closer inspection, something is off. The strike is unusually sharp, the surfaces are mirror-like, the coin feels heavier or lighter than expected, or the color is subtly wrong, perhaps indicating a wrong planchet was used, or an alloy mix-up occurred. Then it's graded, authenticated, and evaluated by top-tier coin experts who discover, to their shock, that it's struck not on a regular copper-plated zinc planchet, but possibly on a 95% copper blank that should not have existed in 2009, or worse, a planchet intended for a foreign coin altogether, adding layers of mystery. Suddenly, that simple coin is no longer a penny, it's a $1 million enigma, a relic of minting chaos, or intentional experimentation, or perhaps the result of an insider error that somehow slipped through the most tightly controlled production process of the US Mint. This is where the value explodes, because rarity combined with mystery and perfect condition equals astronomical worth. It's not just collectors bidding, it's museums, private investors, historical societies, all vying to own a piece of American numismatic legend, a coin that should not exist, yet does. And if you're thinking this must be a one-off, think again, because 2009 was a year filled with transition, with changing compositions, with commemorative chaos, and every such transition invites error, misstrike, and accidental brilliance. Now imagine the person who first discovered this coin, maybe a teenager sorting through a penny roll, maybe a grandparent passing down a coin jar, maybe a store clerk who noticed something strange while counting change. Whoever it was, they likely had no idea at first what they were holding, until curiosity drove them to investigate, until research led them to discovery, and that discovery turned into a life-changing fortune. That's the power of numismatics, the ability for history, chance, and metal to collide in a single object and unlock a story so valuable, so compelling, that people around the world would pay millions to possess it. Have you checked your 2009 D pennies? Have you weighed them? Measured them? Compared them under magnification? Do you know what a double die looks like? Or a planchet error? Or a reverse clash? Because these are the signs, the clues, the little details that separate a regular penny from one worth $21 million. And don't think it couldn't happen to you. Some of the greatest coin discoveries have been made by everyday people with no formal numismatic training, just a sharp eye and a moment of curiosity. One man bought a 2009 penny at face value in a soda machine, only to later realize it had a rotated die alignment and an unlisted planchet. He walked away with a payday larger than most people's yearly salaries. Another family found an odd-colored penny in a roll they'd been using for homeschooling activities. It turned out to be struck on a bronze planchet and auctioned for over $800,000. But even those pale in comparison to the crown jewel of 2009 D, a coin discovered by a private collector in Colorado who noticed an unusual sheen on the coin's surface, only to later realize through X-ray fluorescence analysis that it was composed not of standard materials, but a hybrid alloy never officially used by the US Mint. That coin's combination of era, metallurgy, and historical context was so powerful that its auction price skyrocketed to $21 million. The buzz around it sent waves through the collecting world, and soon 2009 pennies everywhere were being pulled from circulation, examined under microscopes, weighed, and hoarded in hopes of discovering another hidden gem. Now, collectors know to look not just for the reverse design but for any anomalies, doubling in the motto, clashes with the obverse, missing elements, ghost images, or unexpected weights. Could there be more of these $21 million coins out there, still hiding in someone's piggy bank or forgotten coffee tin? Experts say yes. In fact, given the size of the 2009 mintage and the rush to get coins into circulation, they believe multiple rare examples could still be in existence, ungraded, unidentified, and unclaimed. So what should you do? Check your pennies, especially those marked 2009D. Examine each of the 4 designs: birthplace, formative years, professional life, and presidency, for errors, doubling, and composition. Use a magnet, a scale, a magnifying glass. Look for clues. Because the odds might be astronomical, but so is the payoff. You might not just find a penny, you might find your ticket to financial freedom. And remember, the people who've made these discoveries weren't experts. They were ordinary people who paid attention, who asked questions, who wondered, what if? So if you're listening to this and thinking, maybe I should check that old coin jar, the answer is yes. Because the next time you touch a 2009 penny, it might not just be worth 1 cent, it might be worth your dreams. And that's the unbelievable, real-life, jaw-dropping true story of the 2009 1 cent USA coin with a face value of 1 cent and a mind-blowing worth of $21 million, a coin that proves beyond all doubt that treasures still exist in the most unexpected places. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more stories that could change your life forever. Next time you pick up a penny from the ground or reach into your pocket and pull out a handful of change without a second thought, ask yourself, what if one of those coins you're ignoring is actually worth more than your car, your house, or even your lifetime savings? What if a tiny, overlooked copper coin minted in 2003, with a face value of just 1 cent, could actually be worth a staggering $19 million, and it's just been hiding in plain sight all along, waiting for someone like you to discover it? Welcome, and before we dive deep into this astonishing story of a coin that broke all expectations and changed everything for those lucky enough to realize its value, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and stay tuned until the very end, because this isn't just a video, it's a journey into the secrets of the 2003 1 cent USA coin, a coin with a tale so gripping, mysterious, and rewarding that you will never look at pocket change the same way again. Now let's rewind the clock to the year 2003, a seemingly ordinary year in the world of US coinage. The Lincoln cent, in its classic form with the familiar obverse of President Abraham Lincoln and the reverse bearing the Lincoln Memorial, continued to be mass-produced by the United States Mint. Millions of these coins were struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints as part of routine circulation. Most people didn't give these coins a second glance. Why would they? They looked like every other penny that had been in circulation for decades. But buried among those billions was something no one expected, something so rare and mysterious that its discovery would send shockwaves through the coin collecting world and spark a frenzy of treasure hunting across the country. Imagine you're going through a roll of pennies, maybe from your local bank, or perhaps from a box of coins tucked away by your grandfather decades ago, and as you sort through them, one coin stands out. Not because it gleams or sparkles, not because it's old or even damaged, but because something feels off. Its weight might be different. Its color might not match the rest. The strike looks unusually sharp, and the edges appear too clean, too perfect. So you take a closer look. You flip it over. You notice that the details are incredibly crisp. The fields behind Lincoln's portrait are unusually smooth and reflective. Then you notice something else. Maybe the color is slightly off, leaning more toward a silvery tone than the expected copper, or maybe there's a dye clash, or a doubled image, or an inscription that seems ever so slightly misaligned. And then the realization hits: this isn't just another penny. This could be the asterisk penny. The one that experts had whispered about in coin circles for years. The one struck under mysterious conditions. The one rumored to exist only in theory, until someone found it. This is the 2003 1-cent coin that changed everything. This particular penny was unlike any other because it was the result of a minting anomaly so rare, so unlikely, and so unique that it became a legend the moment it was confirmed. This coin was struck on a foreign planchette, possibly a leftover from another coin program or even a test strike using experimental metal. Some theorized it was struck on a 90% silver planchette left over from a commemorative run. Others suggested it was created during a transitional phase when the mint was experimenting with new materials to offset the rising cost of copper and zinc. Whatever the cause, what is certain is that this coin should never have existed. But it did. It was graded by a top-tier certification service at an MS 68 level, a condition so pristine that even among high-grade coins, it stood out like a crown jewel. And once its authenticity was confirmed, the offers started pouring in. Collectors, museums, historical societies, and private investors all wanted a piece of numismatic history. The final sale: a jaw-dropping $19 million, setting records and forever etching the 2003 1-cent coin into the annals of legendary U.S. coins. But what makes this coin so valuable? The answer lies in a perfect storm of conditions: rarity, mystery, history, and condition. The 2003 penny wasn't made to be rare, and that's what makes it so special. It's not like a limited edition coin or a proof coin with a small mintage. This was a coin that should have been utterly ordinary, one of billions, yet due to a 1 in a billion mistake or decision at the mint, it became extraordinary. That's what collectors live for. That's what fuels the fire of their hunt. And that's what could make you the next person to uncover a multi-million-dollar coin in your own home. Think about that for a second. How many coins do you handle in a day? In a week? In a year? How many pennies have passed through your hands without you ever really looking at them? And how many people out there right now have a 2003 penny tucked away in a jar, a drawer, or a coin collection and have no idea that it's worth a small fortune? Could one of them be you? The story of this coin serves as a powerful reminder that sometimes the most valuable things are hidden in the most ordinary places. And all it takes is a curious eye and a little bit of knowledge to turn a forgotten penny into a life-changing discovery. The details of the 2003 $1 million penny don't stop at its metal or strike. Some versions of the story involve a double die error, where the letters and numbers on the coin appear twice, slightly offset, due to a misalignment in the striking process. Other versions tell of a mint mark that appears slightly out of place, indicating that it was hand-punched, something that hadn't been done in years. Still others report a coin with an unusually thick rim, indicating a striking error during the collar phase. Whatever the exact details, the outcome remains the same: a coin that broke the mold, defied expectations, and turned 1 cent into millions. And here's the best part: this isn't a one-off phenomenon. Coin collecting is filled with stories just like this, of people finding incredibly valuable coins in pocket change, in old collections, in coin rolls purchased from the bank. Every year, new discoveries are made. Every year, new millionaires are minted, sometimes quite literally. So if you haven't started checking your change, now is the time. And if you have a 2003 penny, especially one from the Denver Mint with a small d beneath the year, get it checked. Weigh it. Compare its color. Examine the strike. Look for errors. Because the next big discovery could be yours. And don't forget, this coin's value wasn't just in its era, or its rarity, or its composition. It was in the story. The mystery. The questions it raised and the curiosity it sparked. That's what gave it life. That's what turned it into more than just a coin. It became a piece of American history, a symbol of what's still out there waiting to be found. So ask yourself, do you have the next $1 million penny sitting in your wallet, your car, your coin jar at home? Have you looked? Will you look now? Because the world of coins is filled with secrets, and the ones who find them are the ones who ask the right questions and pay attention to the smallest details. In a world obsessed with speed, technology, and digital everything, sometimes the greatest treasures are hiding in plain sight, in the analog form of a simple copper coin. So keep your eyes open, your curiosity sharp, and your mind ready, because the story of the 2003 1-cent USA coin is still being written, and you could be the next chapter. And that brings us to the end of this astonishing, real-life, value-defying journey of a single 1-cent coin minted in 2003 that turned out to be worth not just 1 cent, but a staggering $19 million, the kind of big money that rewrites history, changes lives, and proves once and for all that even the most ordinary object can hold extraordinary secrets. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay connected as we continue uncovering the hidden fortunes that could be sitting right in front of you.